It's never a dull moment, Riley. Never a dull moment being a West Ham fan. And, just when we thought that, the transfer window was looking up, we could bring some players in. Of course, there was the talk about Paqueta departing. It appeared that was going to happen. I think actually most fans were expecting he'd probably played his last game, to be honest. I didn't think he'd be involved this Sunday. If he was, I assumed this would have been his last game. But then we get the breaking news, Riley, yesterday that FA are launching an investigation into Lucas Paqueta over betting irregularities. Basically, it appears that he's been linked with the idea that he's been possibly getting deliberate yellow cards, possibly. That's what they're looking into, that accounts were created in Brazil by his family and friends and that he would receive a yellow card. We'll talk about it in a bit more detail. But first of all, mate, firstly, I want to ask you, one, how are you? And two, what were your thoughts on this when this all broke yesterday?
Well, I'm doing very well, Mark. The only thing for me is just one normal day at West Ham would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, it just and it does really seem that as soon as something starts to get a bit positive, something just comes out that just sort of ruins it. I mean, I'm no expert, but I think if you're gonna, obviously this is alleged, but if you're gonna put your bets to get yellow cards on matches, you probably don't do it from an island called Paqueta Island. I feel like that kind of alludes a little bit of the mystery towards that. So. Listen, I don't think there's too much to it. We've seen people in the past be accused of these betting scandals, and quite honestly, the only person who's ever actually followed through with it is Ivan Toney. But I mean, whether that's just because the vast majority and just the vastness of how many bets he put on forced the FA's hand, I'm not sure. But I mean, there was a real issue with betting in football, isn't it? I mean, you're a footballer, but you can't bet on anything. You can't go and bet on, an Australian match or a match going on in Saudi Arabia. Like, you can't bet on football full stop. So I do think they are quite strict when it comes to that sort of stuff. And the amount of promotions you get, I mean, Christ's sake, he's wearing a Betway top for West Ham in a stadium. Yeah. He's promoting gambling all the time. But then as soon as he decides to gamble himself, that would be classed as bad. So I do think it's kind of weird the way it works. But obviously, if there is a case where he is deliberately getting yellow cards, which I don't think is the case. When I watch Paqueta, I don't think, that was a bit stupid. Like, what was the point in that? I don't really watch him and think he's quite reckless when it comes to yellow cards. And I just don't think he's that kind of player. But I mean, obviously, I guess we'll find out in due course whether it's true or not. But is it a blessing in disguise that this sort of ruins his move to Manchester City, do you think?
Well, I was going to ask you that. So, I mean, it is. I mean, it's a really difficult one to get a head around, man. We don't really know any details, let's be honest. So we're all there's a bit of speculation going on. It appears that what they're suggesting at the moment is suggesting that Lucas Paquetas. It's only, look, let's make it very clear, because obviously we're talking about something that's quite serious here, and we don't want to sort of say that, oh yeah, he's done this. We don't. He could be completely innocent. So, and that's how it's got to be taken. He's innocent until he's been proven guilty. But what it appears that what they're leaning towards is that, I'll tell you what, I'll read you the description, Riley, of what's come out. And this is this has just come from a Sean Whetstone account. So he's saying Paqueta is facing an investigation by the FA about bets that were placed against West Ham's 1-1 draw with Aston Villa on the 12th of March. Following a complaint, Paqueta received a yellow card in the 70th minute of the game. Several betting accounts were created on that day from Brazil with West Ham sponsor on Betway. With maximum bets were placed that Paqueta would get a yellow card during that game, as well as Luis Enrique for Real Betis, who was also playing the same day. Paqueta's now denied any wrongdoing. So it's a really strange one. So what we're saying is, Riley, actually, it kind of goes against what you just said. So Paqueta actually hasn't placed any bets. He hasn't actually done anything. He's got no account from what this is suggesting. It's to do with the fact that he knows people and he's maybe suggested, place a bet and I'll make sure I get a yellow card. The difficulty with that is, first and foremost, let's just say let's forget, we're going to go in the innocent route, but even if he is guilty, it's very hard to prove. How do you prove that then? Like, it's very difficult unless you've got evidence of communication to say, I'm going to get a yellow card in this match, place your bets, and it's come from a text message or an email or something. If it's word of mouth, you've got barely any chance of proving anything. But I'll go on to your other point though, mate. Yeah, I actually do think it's a strange one, isn't it? At the moment, a lot of West Ham fans are in uproar over it, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. He's going to be banned for a long time. Mate, that could well happen. That could well happen. But on the other side of it, what if it doesn't? What if, let's just play out a scenario. Let's play out that Lucas Paqueta's move now to Manchester City is dead. And that is what we believe is the case. And let's be honest, why wouldn't it be? Man City are not going to spend £85 million on a player that could be banned anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. So I think that it's safe to say Paqueta is staying at West Ham for the time being, which I've got to be honest, I think is a positive. But we obviously don't know the ban's coming up, so there could be something serious around the corner. We don't know. But let's just play out the scenario that it's not that bad. Let's play out the scenario that actually, like, they come in and say, well, look, we've done the investigation. We can't really find any wrongdoing, or they might have found some wrongdoing and say, we're going to give you, let's just say, a 3-match ban, slap on the wrist, don't do it again, da-da-da-da-da. And then, I'm just guessing this. I mean, this could well not happen. But, and then we're left with Paqueta for the rest of the season. It could well work in West Ham's favour big time, because not only have you kept a superstar at the football club, I get the feeling he's a player as well that will quite thrive off this. I get that sort of sneaky feeling that he might feel like, well, do you know what, I want to go and show how good I am and go against now the negative publicity, which I think could work in our favour. And another thing, Riley, as well, which you've got to bear in mind, if he's found guilty, even if it's serious or not serious, a chance of moving then to a big top 6 club or a big world club like a Real Madrid kind of gets damaged. It really does. Because people might go, oh, you've got a mark against your name now. Who's going to, do these clubs want to be associated with a guy that's doing that? I'm not suggesting that will definitely happen, but you get the feeling that clubs won't be clambering to get to him because of the negative publicity. For instance, it's like, can you see a top club now coming in for Zuma? Probably not, because it doesn't look great, does it? So this all weirdly could work in West Ham's favour, but also, of course, on the other side of the coin, it could go against us badly. Let's just say he gets a year ban, then we've got to pay a guy, top dollar wages, who's one of our main players, to sit on the bench for a year. I don't know, but I mean, where are you leaning to at the moment? I mean, obviously it's very difficult for us to say because we don't know the scenario, how it's going to pay out. But is there a part of you thinking this is actually a bit of a blessing in disguise then for West Ham?
Mate, as far as I reckon, David Moyes has leaked a load of messages. That's the kind of feeling that I get around this situation. But I mean, when you think about how many bets Ivan Toney put on personally himself, and he only got banned for 6 months, something of this nature, where, like you say, he's not even actually putting the bets on unless there is a physical text message to say, I'm going to, go through someone in the so and so minute of the Aston Villa game. Make sure you put your bets on before the game, unless there's something like that, which I think even in itself, it's dodgy, but, I can imagine that just being quite a big fine as opposed to, the only difference is, though, with Tony is that he just put bets on matches. I don't believe he fixed any matches, which I suppose if you're deliberately getting a yellow card from yourself, that's kind of...
I think the difference as well, the difference with Tony as well was one, you're right, he was betting on vast amounts of games, some of the games he was playing in, but I think the situation with Tony is that he's not well, he's got a gambling addiction clearly, so it wasn't a case that they had to find and dig in to find evidence of things. I think it was just very easy to say, look, you've clearly got a problem. He's continually betting, gambling on this game. So I don't think it's the same kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas the Paqueta one seems a little bit of a sneaky way of doing things. At the end of the day, if he is, let's just say that, again, we've got to make it very clear, this has not been proven, there's nothing come out yet, it could well be innocent, and we've got to go down the notion that he's innocent, but let's just say in the snow that he is guilty, he has been getting deliberate yellow cards to get money, then he's in massive trouble, mate. He could be in really big trouble because, you're not only with the foot, in general football, because obviously, one, you could be injuring players, and two, you could be, he could be getting bans. I mean, he could be getting bans from West Ham. Then he could be getting a 5-match ban. Well, sorry, a 1-match ban for getting 5 yellow cards. It's a really big one. So I really, really hope and pray that it does come out and it's actually not true, or if it is something in it, then it's very, very minor. It's nothing like that. I'd hate to think that he's actually going onto the pitch and saying, "Well, I'm going to try and get yellow cards here." And then the other side of it, mate. I mean, let's just say it is true. I mean, why would you be thinking? Why would you want to go down that route as a very coveted footballer? Plays Premier League. He was a whisker away of going to go and play for the treble winners. He plays for Brazil as their number 10. Why would you ever want to get caught up in a world where you then go, let's make a few extra bob and start kicking players over the pitch just to get yellow cards? It just beggars belief. But as you say, mate, it's just. It nothing surprises me, West Ham United, and especially this summer, because we're going to come on to another video soon about our sort of transfer update, and we'll talk about Riley's favourite subject on that, Lingard. But Paqueta, mate, nothing surprises me. But I've actually got a sneaky feeling that he will thrive off this. Do you know what I mean? I get that.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling if he's we believe, by the way, he is in the squad for Chelsea. and he's available for selection, and let's be honest, if he's available for selection and he's up for it, which I'm hoping he will be, then you imagine he will play. And I get the feeling he'll be one of them players that'll be, good, give me the ball. I really want to show off here because I know there's going to be a lot of attention on me. And I just get the feeling he'll thrive. What do you think in terms of what West Ham do now, Riley? If you're David Moyes, you're the football club in general, what do you do? Do you suspend the players until investigation? Do you let him carry on as normal? Where do you sit with it?
Well, I mean, I don't know where you rank these wrongdoings, I guess, but Kurt Zuma played the day after he kicked a cat. So I don't really see West Ham taking any action like that. No. And also, I think the thing West Ham need to focus on right now is just getting Mohamed Kudus through the door. Obviously, that is something we'll talk about in the next video, but I think that's an absolute must now, because even if Paqueta doesn't leave now, which is looking unlikely, he's probably going to leave next summer when he's got his release clause, if City still want to touch him after all the allegations and everything sort of come to light. And also, if it does come to light that he's done something and it gets a ban for us, we need Kudus to come in and be able to fill his void. So for me right now, that just really heightens the situation to make sure that we get Mohamed Kudus through the door. But I've got a good feeling about it. I personally don't think that too much will come of this investigation. I don't see him, he might get a fine, I reckon, maybe a couple match bans, but I don't think they'd have sufficient evidence to be able to prove that he's done the yellow cards, and he doesn't strike me as that kind of person. But I mean, just one normal day at West Ham, that's all we asked for, and it's not something we get very often, is it?
No, absolutely, it doesn't. I'll tell you what as well. There is a little bit of a twist to this as well, slight extra twist, I think. I mean, I just need to double check if this is absolutely correct, but it appears that Brazil have dropped him for their upcoming matches. Now, if that is the case, now I need to confirm that's true, because it's just kind of spreading a little bit as rumour at the moment, but it might well be factual. That's a problem for West Ham, possibly, because that puts quite a bit of pressure on the club. Because if the national team are saying he's not able to play for us until this is resolved, we don't want to be associated with him effectively, then what do West Ham do? Like you, mate, I'm very much of the opinion that I think the club will just go, well, it hasn't been proven. And I actually think that's correct. Why should he be suspended? You can't suspend a player because there's suspicion he might have done something. At the end of the day, he's not killed anyone. He's not anything horrendous. It's not great if he's been accused of, but it's not, there's worse crimes to commit in the world. So at the end of the day, and like you say, they did it with Zuma, didn't they? Went, well, okay, nothing's happened yet. He's under investigation, but we need him. And I think, especially for David Moyes this season, let's be honest, David Moyes is under considerable pressure to deliver. He can't afford to be resting key footballers in key games. Let's be honest, Chelsea is going to be a hard game. We'll come to our preview in that later. And we'll talk about this obviously a bit more, but David Moyes can't afford to be dropping Paqueta, just because on the basis that he's under, a bit of pressure from the press. I personally don't think he'll take any notice of it and say, no, we want him to play. But as you say, mate, never a dull moment, is there, in East London?